Here today we are on a field exploration of the vegetation of the salt range. Here you see the salt deposits in the salt range soil. The soil is mainly deposited with the salt, and salt concentration is very higher in these soils. So it is called as a salt range soil. These are the full blooming and the flowering of Acacia modesta. In English it is called as Mianwali tree, and this is a salt range indicator tree species, and it is also found in the arid and salt range soil. These flowers are commonly visited during the month of August and September by the honeybee to prepare the wild honey. This honey is very expensive and wild. There is another important prostate herb that is found in the salt range, that is the Tribulus terrestris, while in English it is called as a puncture vine. Roots are used for the kidney stone, and it's also one of the important plants that is used for a number of renal diseases. Another important indicator of the salt range is Solanum incanum, which is commonly known as a wild brinjal or a wild eggplant. That plant belongs to family Solanaceae. The edible fruits are used to make the vegetable. The fruits are also used for a number of medicinal purposes. It is another important small shrub, that is the Irva persica, which is called as Safed Bui and belong to family Amaranthaceae. The flowers are used to make the pillow that is used for the backache. Here you see it is the one of the important edible mushroom that belong to genus Agaricus. This is the edible wild mushroom that is commonly found in the salt range region. It is another important medicinal plant of the salt range that is found in the salty soil, that is Tephrosia uniflora. The pinkish flowers, the compound leaves, and this plant is one of the important plants with respect to the highest protein contents, and it is recommended for the diabetic patient, and it is also used for digestive disorders, which belong to family Leguminosae or Papilionaceae. This is another important tree that is called as Capparis decidua. The synonym is Capparis aphylla, which belongs to family Capparidaceae. It is in English it is called as Kappa tree, and in Urdu or in Tib it is called as Kree or Dela. Here you see the fruits of the Kappa tree that is edible, and it is also used for making the pickles, and it is the traditional food by the local communities of the salt range to prepare the pickles. So this is our tree where you see the morphology of the tree, that is spiny branches, and sometimes the leaves are fall, that is our deciduous. Here you see the ripened fruit that are eaten by the insects. Here you see a beautiful panoramic view of Musafel Hill, which is surrounded by salt binder, that is Saccharum spontaneum, Videnia coagulans, Justacia editoda, Calotropis procera, and Prosopis cineraria, Prosopis juliflora, and Prosopis glandiosa, and number of the other grasses that make the soil bind. This is another important salt range plant, that is Physoranchus brueus. This is another important plant with respect to the oil contents. So the seeds of this plant contain the higher amount of oil, about 35%. It is one of the important oil that is used for a number of skin diseases, and this oil is also used for the green energy, that is the biofuel. This is an important allophytic plant. This is a small shrub of the salt range region, that is the Nummularia. It is called as Otistigia limbata, while in Sriki it is called as Avani booty. This is the important medicinal plants, and the aerial parts are crushed to obtain the powder. This powder is used for the eye complaints as well as antifungal, antibacterial, and antimicrobial activities. This is a very characteristic halophyte, that is a salt range plant, Capparis spinosa. In Urdu or Tib it is called as sometime a dode or Kree or Dela. The unripened flowers and fruits are used as vegetables. So this is another important wild fruits and wild vegetable in salt range. The seeds of these plants contain a high amount of the oil, and that oil is used for the production of the biofuel. This is called as caper plant. This is the flower of Prosopis glandiosa, that is the kikri, and it is one of the important salt range flower that is visited by the honeybee to prepare the wild, original, genuine honey. Another important halophyte, that is salt range plant, that is the Phylla nudiflora, which is commonly known as jal neem, and it is one of the important plants used by the traditional herbalist and the traditional practitioner for a number of the disease treatments, especially the people who burn their skins. This plant is, the paste of this plant is applied on the burning skin, and it is one of the important recipes that is used as a first aid for the burning. Here you see another important salt range plant, that is halophyte, that is Heliotropium baciferum. This plant is one of the important plants that belong to family Boraginaceae, and it is one of the important plants where the aerial parts are used by the traditional peoples for the skin diseases. So it is one of the important plants that is used for the number of the skin disorder. Here you see it is a scrub vegetation, that is the Prosopis juliflora, which is commonly known as kikri in this area, and it is a dominant species along the Indus, along the banks of the Namal Lake, and this plant is mainly used for the fuel consumption. It is also home of the number of the birds as well as the wild honey that is prepared by the honeybee from the flowers of this Prosopis juliflora. This is another important plant that is found in the banks of Namal lakes and arid parts, that is the Chrozophora hydrosolimetna. It belongs to family Euphorbiaceae. It is one of the important medicinal plants which have strong antifungal activities. The seeds of this plant are very important with respect to the non-edible oil seed that is extracted and used for the production of biofuel. Here you see another important plant, that is Solanum suratans, which is commonly known as Moakadi or Kandiari in Sraiki. It is found on the banks of Namal Lake. This is one of the important medicinal plants that belong to family Solanaceae, where the few characteristic features of the flowers are the pentamerous flower, the persistent calyx, and the spiny leaves. Here you see the leaves contain spines. So this is the characteristic feature of this plant, Solanum suratans.